I made my own homemade cola. Will it make a delicious cocktail too? We'll find out. Also, there's a little surprise at the end. Thanks to all of you. Let's start. It's cocktail time. Hi friends of cocktails. Today we'll make a Cuba Libre, a delicious, easy to make cocktail with rum, lime and Coke. To make it a bit special, I'll be using homemade cola. It's an interesting spin on the classic Coca-Cola and a sure way to impress your guests. I'll show you how to make homemade cola syrup and then bottle your very own soda. I'm calling this Kevin Cola. But first, let's make the Cuba Libre. The Cuba Libre was of course born in Cuba, around the turn of the 20th century. I imagine the newly imported Coca-Cola was quickly mixed with Cuban rum, making it a favorite with a heavy US presence at the time. Muddled lime provides acidity and essential oils for the best fresh flavor. The drink's name was the slogan of the Cuban independence movement. Later, in the 20th century, the US embargo made it very hard to get a proper Cuba Libre in Cuba or the US, so using an alternative cola is quite fitting. Coca-Cola was created in 1886 in Atlanta by a pharmacist, John S. Pemberton, originally made as a tonic for most common ailments, thanks to the cocaine from the coca leaf and caffeine-rich extracts of the cola nut, both of which were later dropped from the now highly secret recipe. Did these components help with the popularity of the Cuba Libre? Maybe, but it's still a wonderful cocktail over 100 years later. And I'm pretty sure it will be delicious with my homemade cola as well. A classic, but with a unique twist. If it reminds you of something you've seen on the channel before. Last year I made a rum old-fashioned with a cola foam. But now, let's give this a taste before I show you how to make the cola syrup. It hits all the notes you're looking for in a Cuba Libre, light and full of flavor at the same time. The lime makes it extra refreshing, and our homemade cola provides enough caramel to pair it perfectly with the aged rum. It's a wonderful expression of a unique ingredient you can make yourself. Before we dive into my version of the cola, there are some videos online replicating the original recipes from the late 1800s, including one from Pemberton's own diary. The recipe used a special ingredient called merchandise 7X, or simply the Coca-Cola flavor. This was made with alcohol and essential oils from orange, lemon, nutmeg, coriander, cinnamon, and neroli. Glenn and Friends Cooking made a great episode on it, so check that out if you want to learn more about the original recipe. We'll make the recipe without the 7X and with a few other tweaks, making it totally unique. Some calling it Kevin Cola. You can play around with most of the ingredients to suit your taste, but one thing you'll need to get the appearance right is this thing. Caramel coloring doesn't provide taste, but is there to give the iconic color of cola. We'll make and use a lot of ingredients, so I took the easy route with the coloring and got some from a Slovenian soda making company. If you're in the mood to make your own, I recommend checking out Art of Drink. He's got highly detailed instructions of sodas, syrups, bitters and other fun cocktail stuff. Now, with shoutouts out of the way, get your sous vide ready and let's make some homemade cola. The sous vide will give us control of the temperature, and the sealed bag will make sure nothing evaporates and all flavors infuse nicely for a delicious cola syrup. We have a lot of ingredients here, which I weighed in advance. You'll find the whole recipe written out on kevincos.com. We're not making an extra flavoring solution, but we'll be adding all ingredients together, starting with 300 ml of water, 180 grams of plain white sugar, and 90 grams of demerara sugar. Follow that with another sweet component, 60 grams of caramel sugar. How do you get that, Kevin? I hear you ask. I'll show you. In a pot, mix 30 ml of water and 120 grams of sugar. Place on a medium heat until it boils and the sugar starts to caramelize. Once it reaches 180 degrees Celsius or 355 Fahrenheit, it's time to take it off the heat and slowly and very carefully pour the hot caramel on a baking sheet. Spread it out evenly and leave to cool. Until then, really try to be careful with hot sugar, because it will burn your skin. Once it's cold, break it apart and weigh out 60 grams and we're back to making the cola. We have the water and sugars in. Follow that with 6 grams of the coloring agent, caramel coloring. This amount goes a long way. Just make sure to rinse out every last drop. Next, the citrus and sour components. Add 0.7 grams each of grated lemon and lime peels and 1.8 grams of orange peels. Follow that with our friends, 2.3 grams of citric and 0.6 grams of malic acid. The next ingredients will first go into a mortar to be crushed, before going into the sous vide bag, ensuring a good extraction of flavors. Start with 0.6 grams of both nutmeg and Ceylon cinnamon. Follow that with 0.45 grams of a vanilla bean, cut opened lengthwise. Next, 0.75 grams of coriander seeds and a whopping 4.5 grams of rose hip. Moving on, the ingredients that will provide caffeine and bitterness: coffee bean and the cola nut, 0.12 gram or a single coffee bean, and 0.9 gram of the nut that gave cola its name, and lastly 0.3 grams of makrut lime leaves. Now be careful not to send everything flying. Crush everything with a mortar and pestle. Really put some elbow grease into it and turn this almost into a paste. Once you're happy with that, transfer it into the sous vide bag. Vacuum seal the bag and place it in a sous vide bed. Set to 80 degrees Celsius or 175 degrees Fahrenheit for 1.5 hours. Agitate the bag every so often, so the caramel sugar melts completely. Once that's done, it's time to cut open the bag and filter the contents through a muslin cloth. Bottle the syrup, put it in the fridge to cool, and it's ready to use. If you're among those that enjoy watching me make homemade ingredients, but it's always thinking, I'd love to try that, but I'm not making it myself. First off, thank you for watching anyway, but more importantly, this time I have a solution for you. Liber and Co also sent their Kola Syrup. It's made with filtered water, cane sugar, gum arabic, caramel, acids and natural flavors, including vanilla, cinnamon and the cola nut. If you'd like to enjoy a quality syrup with rich flavor, without all the work, look no further. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to grab a bottle of their syrup. And speaking of bottles, it's time to turn our homemade syrup into a soda and bottle it. To do that, I'll use empty and sterilized 200 ml tonic bottles, crown caps and a bottle capper. This one has seen a few things in its days, but it still works like new. Next step is to add the ingredients. For each bottle I'll use 30 ml or 1 ounce of the Kola Syrup. Then add 2 drops of saline solution. This will nicely enhance the citrus elements. Lastly, add highly carbonated water. The colder you can have this water, the better it is for the final product. You really don't want a flat soda. Final step is to place a crown on top and seal it firmly. The rubber on the inside will help with that. Turn the sealed bottle to make sure everything is nicely mixed. And the cherry on top, a nice unique cola label on the side. All you have to do now is repeat the process to use up all of the syrup. Remember to place the bottles in the fridge and serve them cold to maximize carbonation. Once your bottles are nice and cold, it's time to crack one open and enjoy. Let's give it a taste.
Kevin, before we do that, check what we got.
Whoa!
So, our friend who made us that board saw that we were nearing 50,000 subscribers, and since we passed it, he actually gave us a wooden play button instead of a silver one. So, and because we couldn't have done this without you guys, he made 2 boards and we decided to give one to one of our patrons. So, thank you for the support, and let's go get that silver button, I guess. You guys do.
Nice.
On with the episode.
There are subtle differences to the classic Coca-Cola, you'll notice quickly. From a bit more caramel on the aroma, to the freshness of the citrus peels. Nutmeg, cinnamon, rosehip and coriander give it a combination of subtle warmth and fresh spiciness. It's sweet, but also just bitter enough from the cola nut, coffee and caramel. Not your classic Coca-Cola, but that's what makes it so intriguing. Let me know how you like it. Thanks again to everyone tuning in to Cocktail Time every week. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
El son de Cuba traigo yo, porque la fiesta ya empezó. La fiesta sigue toda la noche con este ritmo tan especial. La gente baila, la gente goza con esa música original. sabroso.